Okay, here is your video for Act 2 of 12 Angry Men. You'll notice that there's not a whole lot, to be honest with you, a whole lot of formative work with this particular unit, simply because the play is just so short. With only 2 acts in and around 80 pages or so, the action moves fairly quickly. So I would like you to get through the reading, through these short little videos, and then into the summative assignment. Not as fast as we can, but at a decent pace. There's no sense of spending weeks on the finer nuances of the play in terms of imagery, in terms of other major key issues, if that's not necessarily going to benefit you with the summative assignment that I've created. The second reason is that we've also touched on a lot of this in Fahrenheit 451. So you've done a lot of work with symbolism and imagery already. So this play is more so allowing you to connect it to your own personal world, and you'll see that when I do the video for you and release the summative assignment. You'll see that it has more of a reflective aspect to it rather than simply a literary analysis, and I think that will make sense to you as to why we're moving the way we are through this particular unit. Okay, so let me go through Act 2 very quickly on what I would like you to do, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so Act 2 of 12 Angry Men. Again, this is the second and the last act. What I would like you to look at is key subjects here. So we're not necessarily dealing with full-on literary techniques, but we're dealing with subjects here. And the author has chosen to raise a number of different subjects throughout the text. And I think some of the big ones are the ideas of prejudice, discrimination, justice, and revenge. So prejudice is, as you know, judging a person before you know them based on a stereotype. So sorry, that got cut off a little bit there, but based on a stereotype. Discrimination is basing actions on prejudice and stereotypes. So racism is discrimination based on race. Sexism is discrimination based on gender. The second ones, the last two here is justice and revenge. So justice is a basic understanding of justice is that it's that just behavior or treatment of something. Revenge is, if we're dealing with it as a noun, is the action of inflicting harm or hurt on someone for an injury or wrong suffered at their hands. Now in this play, there's a sense of revenge, okay, but it's not necessarily at one person's particular hands, but the way that one juror interprets the situation. What I would like you to really look at as you're reading the final act of this play is take a look at what's the difference between justice and of revenge. Does this play blur these two subjects in any way? And if so, why is that important or significant? Okay, in terms of if these two, they may not be, that's up to you in terms to decide, but these two subjects may be blurred, and then if so, where are you seeing them, from what character, and how are they being presented to you? And if it's not a blur, and if there's a distinction between justice and of revenge, what's the author trying to communicate, or the commentary that they're kind of trying to offer based upon making sure that there's a delineation between justice and revenge. So, if justice is very clearly distinct from revenge at the end of the play, what's the author trying to say about that? Say justice, okay? So that you're also working towards theme here too, right? That should be familiar by now. The same thing goes with prejudice and discrimination, okay? Where are you seeing prejudice being presented in the play, and where are you seeing discrimination being presented in the play? By whom? What are they saying? What are they doing? So forth and so forth, okay? The next part, after you work through those key subject areas, the next part that I would like you to look at is character and conflict. And I provided you with a character sheet, conflict sheet that looks like this, that focuses on character. So what I would like you to do for this one is look at, so I want you to complete the following chart by indicating whether each character supports the protagonist or acts as an antagonist in Act 2. So hopefully by this time you realize that Juror 8 is the main protagonist of the play, and Juror 3 is the main antagonist of Juror 8. So 3 and 8 seemingly are in opposition to each other. Okay, 8 is the protagonist, the main protagonist, and juror 3 is his antagonist. Okay, what I would like you to do here, so I've got the chart here, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, the juror numbers, is complete the following chart by indicating whether each character supports the protagonist or acts as the antagonist in um, in Act Two. So either supports or acts against. You could put here supports antagonist, supports protagonist, or so forth. Okay, so you can work your way down here, and then under this column here, I would like you to give me some word for word examples as well. This sheet is incredibly important. Look on this warning over here. This sheet is incredibly important as you work to complete it because it has a direct connection to one of your questions in your summative assignments. I will count this completed sheet as rough work, by the way. So if this is completed, okay, and it's completed well, this counts for marks towards the rough work component of your summative assignment. So please make sure that you work diligently to complete this. And again, if you have any questions or concerns at all, please email me, and I will be able to get back to you quickly. Okay, so that's the task for Act Two. Yes, it's pretty quick, but again, I really want to get you into the summative assignment, which is going to take a little bit longer to do because there's a couple of three or so parts to that. So let's get the work done for Act Two. Really focusing on character and conflict. That's the really big part here. And please make sure that you work diligently to complete that conflict worksheet to the best of your ability, because you will be using that directly to complete your summative assignment. So that makes so what that means is make sure that you are including a number of good quotations. Okay, that's a big hint here. A number of really good quotations on that sheet. You should be experts at this now. And then you're going to take that sheet and you'll be able to directly use it and hand it in for that summative assignment.